Everybody, thank you for joining me. This is the tutorial for the popping flap card that we made in the Zoom class on Sunday, the 13th of June 2021. So it's called a popping flap card. So you pull this little tab here and it flaps out. And there's just a little mechanism that's hidden inside there that makes that pull out and then flaps out. So it's a popping flap card. Now I've just mounted all of that onto a standard A5 base. So I've done it as a tentfold card. But you could use, a square card. You would just have to adapt your mechanism and sizing and whatnot there. And then you would just write your message in here. Now, if you can hear noise in the background, that's my husband working on some little project in the background, so I do apologise for that. So all of the, I haven't put anything on the inside here. And then I've just used a bit of Stickles glitter on that there and on that little butterfly. That's just a paper butterfly that I've cut out. And then I've kept the theme up with the butterflies here as well, and that's paper, and then I've just put some stickles to make that nice and shiny. And then I've just for this little tab here, I've just used a 2-inch circle cut in half and then use a hole punch to make that piece there, and then just tied a bit of ribbon onto that as well. So don't worry about trying to get all the measurements. I will give you the measurements as I go along, but all the measurements are in the event on my Facebook page, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kazaz. And if you click into the Zoom event, you'll be able to find all the measurements listed for this card and for other cards that we've been making along the way as well. So I'll put a link to the Facebook page in the description below. So you don't need to worry about, jotting it all down. It'll all be over there on my Facebook page. So let's get started and make this popping flap card. Right, so your base is just, as I said, it's just a standard base. I'm using white again for my base, whatever colours and whatnot you've got there to mix and match. So that's just standard in half. And now I'm going to also be doing that in a top fold card again. And I'm using black and white today. So we have two pieces for the mats that are the same. And they are 14.3 by 10. And the mat layers are 9.5 by 13.8. So you need a mat and a layer. That's these two here, that mat and that layer there. And I've done a repeat in the inside. So another mat and layer in there as well. So I'll get those stuck on. Now I'm not sure whether which side of this paper that I'm going to use, so I'll have a look at that when I sort of put it all together. I may even just leave the top one off for now. I just want to see what that may look like with the other layers on it. I'm just using double-sided tape here. I just find that the quickest and easiest way to go. But if you're a glue person, by all means use your glue. And then, like I said, I'm not sure whether I'm going to use like that, because then this is this piece here, and then you've got this other piece on top, which these mats and layers are the reverse side. So I'm almost thinking I'm going to use the dark black and white here, because you'll have this over the top of it too, so you don't see all of it, rather than using that. I think I'm actually going to use that on the inside and that on the outside, and then when I put my pocket and whatnot, it will have the lighter ones on it as well. So they all, because they're double-sided, they'll all mix in anyway. So I think I'll just go ahead and do that anyway. I could do that, but you're going to lose most of that there anyway by the time you put on all of these. And then I'll, you know, these layers here, I think it would just be, I don't know, I think it just might work better if I had a darker layer. So I'll go with the darker layer, and then you can leave me a comment in the video below what you thought might have been the better way, the darker spots or the lighter side that I'm just going to cover up. Now, I also have a Facebook group by the same name, which is Crafty Fun with Mary's Kazaz. And over there, you can add photos for any of the projects that you might have tried from these tutorials or any other projects that you might be doing. It is Kazaz orientated. So I would prefer that it is, you know, mostly Kazaz products that are being displayed on there. But what I'd love to see is that you've gone back and tried these out for yourself. If you haven't been able to join me in the tutorials, and show me what you make from those tutorials. They are a lot of fun. The Zoom classes, they're free. I started these classes back, I think it was about June last year when we were all in lockdown. So I wanted to find a way that, you know, we could all stay connected. We were being told to socially distance, but I wanted to make sure that people could still connect with each other and be safe. So I created these classes. So I hope for those that have been with me from the start, I hope you've been enjoying them. And it's just a great way to meet new people and craft in your own craft room without having to go anywhere, really. I know as we've, you know, coming out of lockdown, you want to be getting out and about as well, but that's why I film these. So you miss one, you can come back to them as well at any time. Right, so that's the mats and layers for the front and the back. And so far that's just, you know, standard mats and layers. Right, so then we've got to create a pocket and a flap, and this is the pocket bit that this sits in, and then the flap part is this part here. So we'll create those, and then we need to actually attach all our mats, layers, and that sort of thing, because once you put all this together, it will be a lot harder to do that. So put away the base for now. We'll make the pocket. Now the pocket, I'm doing my black and white. So my pocket is 19 centimeters by 11.5. And we've got a little bit of scoring to do and a little bit of cutting out on this one. It's nothing too hard. You just need your standard trimmer. Now we want to score at 1.5 centimeters on these sides, and we want to score at 8.5 centimeters on the long side. So 8.5 centimeters and 1.5 centimeters down the length. And then we're actually going to cut some out here. So this pocket has, and you probably can't see it real well here, but the 1.5 centimeters where we just scored there tucks in, and so that makes the pocket here. So we want to, on the longer part of this, so this is where those flaps are along this short side here, we want to remove this here. So when we create things like this, you want to, when you make these flaps, you want to make them, just miter them out slightly. And what that does, it just allows that flap to sit nice and neat on the card. And then we want to get rid of these two longer pieces, keep these ones on the short side. And you could use your trimmer for this as well, but I'm just going to free cut it. Probably could have used my longer scissors though. Might even do that. somewhere in here are my longer scissors. Oh, there they are. That just makes that just that little bit easier. And just cut up to that score line, and you're basically cutting away the score line on this longer side here. I've just turned that over just so that that's easier to get to. And again, just cut up to that score line. So that's that piece there. And then now I rounded my edges. I'm not going to be doing that on the card today. And then on this piece here, which is your flap piece, we want to score along this long side at 7 centimetres. Now the flat piece, that was 16 centimetres by 7.5, and we want to score at 7. And that piece is this one here that you're pulling out. And it's just simply folded. There's nothing special happening on that piece there. So that's the flat piece that comes out, and then we have this piece here, which is the pocket piece. Now, like I said before, we need to embellish these, or at least put the layers on before we go. Now, you can't do a lot of embellishing on this pull-out piece because it just simply won't go in. You can embellish as much as you want out here, but this, whatever comes in here, needs to be reasonably flat. Now, the piece, there's a little mechanism piece that you can't see that's tucked in there, and that's this piece here. Now you want to use lightweight cardstock for this because it's got to be able to move quite freely. And this is 5.5 centimetres by 5.5 centimetres. And we're just going to score it at 1.5 centimetres on each side. And then we're going to do regular little scores within these two. So between where we just scored, we want to put a whole heap of little scores in there. And the best way to do that is just use your trimmer again. So I've lined up that score line here. Sorry, you can't see that. I've lined up the score line here. So now that makes me line up here at 4. And I'm just going to move it across about every, I don't know, 2 millimeters. I want a lot of these. So every 2 millimeters, I'm going to put in a little score mark. And what that does is it helps this mechanism move through the motion. And you'll see what I mean as we get to this. But essentially, you just want to put a whole heap of little score lines in this piece here. But you only want to do them between the two 1.5 score line marks. Don't go beyond them. So see, I've just put a whole heap of little, and that's just going to make, when this piece moves out, it makes that piece be able to come out. So we'll get to that in a minute, and you'll see what I mean for that. Oops, sorry. So these two end pieces you can fold out. They're actually going to be a Z fold. So fold one out and one in. Oops, just want to straighten it up a little bit. And I wouldn't worry too much. You can go through and try and get these to fold over. Remember, they're pretty tiny. So it's not vital that just do them with your fingers, you know. Give them a little bit of a helping hand. The more you move your mechanism around, it will find its own little way anyway. So I'm just going to go through and try and get some of these folded down. And as said, as we go along, this little piece will become, you know, you'll understand what you're doing here a bit more. So as long as you've got, you know, regular little fold marks, it's going to do what you need it to do. Right. All right. So that's what's going to pull that through. And as I said, you want that to be a Z fold as well. So that's what you'll end up with there. So that's the little mechanism piece. So fold this one in as well. This is the pocket. And then this will fold in. So that's the pocket. This will come in and out here, in and out there. And because you've got these little flaps, when this comes in and out, it will catch on it. So there is a little piece that we cut that we will attach after this is all constructed, and it sits there and it just sits over the top of those flaps so that when this piece comes in and out, it won't get caught on it. Right, so like I said, these pieces now we will need to embellish, particularly this piece here, because you won't be able to do it when it's all attached. So if you've got any stamping, like on this one here, I stamped directly onto the paper, so you would want to do that straight before you attach anything. And I stamped on here. So I'm going to be stamping again on my inside pieces. So I want to get all of that sort of stuff out of the way first. This piece here, though, for me on this time around, I've got this cute little dog, and he's going to sit on a piece at the front. So, and I'll just pop him up as well. So you will have for the your top pieces here, you will have a piece that is, let me get my note. So the paper pieces for the pocket is 8 centimeters by 8 centimeters. That's this piece here. You will have a piece that is 8 centimeters by 3 centimeters, and this is that piece that comes in here. And this piece here has to be attached at the very end. You have to construct it all, and that will just sit in there. And then on the flap, so you don't see much of the flap when it's pushed in, but this piece here is here. And so that will have a piece that is 6.5 by 7, which is one of these ones. And I'm going to, because there's not going to be much, I won't put much on that front piece. This will be it here. So that's 6.5 by 7. And then on the inside, again, where that comes out, it's the same size, which is this piece here. And I'm going to do some stamping on here. And then this piece here on the other side of that flap is 6.5 by 8.5, which is this piece here. I think I might have cut that a bit. Oh no, that's right. I think I could have done that a little wider. Yeah, I think I've given a wrong measurement there. Not quite. Ah, that's why I've gone completely wrong. So that's actually not it. Maybe it's this piece. Oh no, that's something else. Anyway, I'll be using it. This flat piece, sorry, I will just get it out and measure it for you, is 8.5 by 7. So that piece, I've given it wrong. So 8.5 by 7. Anyway, I will use that for today. So go ahead and attach all of these pieces. Now, if you are going to stamp on them like I'm going to do, then you will need to do that stamping now. So I'm actually going to stamp on these 2 pieces here. So I'll just get my stamping platform. And on this piece that's on the inside here, that sits on the inside, it's going to have the words life happens, coffee helps, because my little doggie's holding a cup of coffee and he's got glassy eyes. I've put just some glitter glue on there to make him look like he's got glassy eyes. So that is going to sit on here when that opens up. Now, excuse me if my head gets in the way here. I just need to line that up on those there. I'm just using Memento here. I had the Memento out because I used alcohol ink on that, colouring that little fella in. So I've just reached for the same ink and it doesn't really matter. And that's upside down. And I don't think this piece matters. Oh, it won't matter because I'll just turn it around, won't I? I'm just going to stamp that again. That's the beauty about using a stamping platform. If it's not quite crisp enough, you can go back and do it again. Perfect. And that doesn't matter that it was upside down. So that's going to be in there. And then on this piece here, which I've done a little bit too small, is I'm going to have a great day. And I do want to make sure that's around the right way. Right, so let's have a great day. Just caught the edge there, just need to be careful about that. Right, now I also have these, a little doggy bone. So I was going to put a little doggy bone down in here as well, because I have a doggy on the front. Just something cute to put on there. Right, so and I wasn't going to stamp anything on the inside of this, and you because I've already done it on the front, and so this whole piece is going to be for your message. But you can do it however you want to embellish it. There's no right or wrong way to that. So I'll just attach these. Now I stick all my mats and layers on with tape, but like I said, if glue is your go-to, use your glue. So these mats and layers are just being cut to have a small edge around the edge part of that. I think my tape is about to run out as well. These Zoom classes are held every fortnight on a Sunday, and I'm located in Queensland, and they're at 1:30 at Queensland time. Right, and then there's one more here, which is going to be this one. All the dates are up on my Facebook page. That's Crafty Fun with Mary's Kazaz. Just click into the Zoom event, and all the dates for all of the Zoom classes this year are already listed up on there. And then I just add in each, about maybe 3 or 4 days before the class, you'll get a materials list. So you can always check in there. If you like the page, go in and click on like. Then each time I add something in there, or click going into the event as well, and then that will alert you each time there's information put up on there as well. All right, so now the pocket, we'll do the same thing, just attach all your layers onto your pocket, except for that piece that goes in here. That piece has to be put in last, and then we'll get on to the mechanism. And the mechanism is not hard at all. You'd be very surprised. And I'll go back and probably put some glitter glue on here just to get a bit of sparkle and shine onto these. So that's that for now. And then we need tape along here for these pieces for your flaps. And I just put two little pieces. There's no pressure on these flaps anyway, so you could just get away with one piece of tape. I just like to put two onto them. Now you can't push this down yet. We need to attach our flaps. So when you're putting tape onto your flaps, they go on, even though that's a Z fold, tape is put on the same side on each one. Now, I've only made this once before, so bear with me if I need to just have a little bit of a refresher here. So I'm just going to stop the video for the minute and I'll come back to you. Okay, so we had tape. I've just gone ahead and I've attached one of those. So this is the flap, and I've attached the mechanism to just, it's just centered right at the very edge of where that piece folds over. And then this piece here, just fold back. And this edge here, so on your pocket, so that's your pocket there, this piece here, you don't want it showing any further past than that piece there. So you line up as much as you can. You just want to have that edge just slightly inside. And then you pull the tape off this side here. So that's my sticky tape there. And then just bring this flap piece, we haven't attached these yet, bring that flap back down over and attach it there. So you don't want to see any of that mechanism outside of that line there. And so then where we made all those score marks, that's what this does. And it just brings it out like that. Now we'll attach these flap pieces on. Now you've got to make sure that your card, when you're attaching that flap, it goes around that whole piece there. It has to encompass it, has to be inside it all there. Now this side here gets a bit tricky because you've already put one side down now. So again, it needs to go in underneath this. You just have to tuck it in and then attach it. And one thing I didn't do, I haven't put my little pull piece out. And in fact, you know what? I'm actually not going to. I'm going to just make my little hole here and bring it onto that. So I'm not actually going to use that little circle that I did. I'm just going to attach it into here. Now, this piece here is what we need to put on next, because it's the piece that will stop this getting all caught up. And you don't get to see much of it. In fact, you don't really get to see it at all. It's just there to stop anything getting caught up. So I'm going to use the bigger circles there. It just sits in here at the back. And again, just make it so it's got an even border around top and bottom. It's a little bit fiddly because, you know, you've got to try and get it around everything, but there we go. And then this piece here, just attach on, like, and then it sits on top of, on the front of the card. Make sure it's nice and well stuck down because it does have a little bit of movement. Oh, there's my tape, just finished. It has a little bit of movement for when you're pulling that flap out all the time. So make sure it's nicely stuck down. Oops. What I didn't get out was a piece of ribbon, but I will get that out to finish that card off. And so then this piece here just sits on top of, and you just center it. You know, make sure you've got even tops and bottoms. And when I put my little ribbon piece in here, that will be easier to pull. But basically that is what just pulls out. And the more you move that in and out, that little mechanism is going to loosen up for you. So, and you can feel it rolling through those little marks that you had on there. So there you go. And I'll just attach my little fella here to the front. So it's not hard at all, this card. It's has a bit of a wow factor to it, but there's not a lot to this. And he's just going to sit on there. Now I'll put some black ribbon here. And this just says, life happens, coffee helps. Have a great day. And then that just folds back in there. And you'll see this one here, it's just slightly bigger. You know, it this mechanism, you know, I may have just put it out a little bit further in and out. That's why you probably can see a little bit more of mine here, but that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. It's the mechanism bit that when you pull all of this out, you don't want to see the mechanism at all. And then that just tucks back into there. And then jazz it up however you want to jazz it up. And I'm just going to put a few little glitter glue onto here just to give it a bit of sparkle and shine. So I don't want to take away from my nice little cute little doggy. And then on here as well, I'm just going to put some into here. And obviously you just need to let this dry before you go and put that in. And I haven't got any there. So that's the popping flap card. Very, very easy to make. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you can join me on future Zoom classes. If you just jump over to my Facebook page, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kazzaz, click on the like and then go into the Zoom event. And if you click on going, each time I pop up new measurements, you'll be able, that will pop up into your feed. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down the bottom, jump over to the Facebook group, Crafty Fun with Mary's Kazzaz, and post a picture of the card that you make. Hope to see you again on another Zoom class. Bye for now.